The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Today is Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. I want to start by letting everyone know that on Wednesdays, this is Solidarity Wednesdays, when we connect across the political spectrum and connect with workers. We connect with unions, and we'll be speaking on a regular basis with our friend of the show, Nomiki Const, and we'll be discussing workers' rights. We'll be discussing progressive values, because sometimes when you're in a fight, the fight is a lot bigger than just you. Sometimes you need solidarity. Sometimes you need allies, like the local Teamsters 804 out of New York. I absolutely love their grit. They are they know how to fight, especially in social media spaces. And I've grown up knowing that my grandfather was a part of the John Deere Union in Cleveland. As a boy, I grew up knowing about it, but then discovering how the John Deere Union has been fighting a 5-year battle. It's just something. Then thinking about how our brothers and sisters down in the Bamazonians, the Alabama Amazon workers who have been trying to unionize, and the victories that they've been getting. We've talked with Brother Christian Smalls, who's a Amazon union organizer, who's been going across the country, really sacrificing himself and his well-being, trying to organize Amazon. And they've recently had some successes. And so that's what we're going to be focused on Wednesdays, especially starting next week, when we're going to be joined by our sister Nomiki Const. This morning, however, I am joined by my brother from another mother, none other. Now there's the graphic, that's the graphic. Me and sister Nomiki Const will be doing Solidarity Wednesdays. And the other part, I think this is why David just put it up, is because she'll be coming on my show on Wednesday mornings, and I will be going on her show on Wednesday. Let's see, that's evenings. I'll be going on our show Wednesday evenings. And we're going to be cross-pollinating, making sure that Brother Mac, people know that one thing that's what's interesting to me is the lack of knowledge of union workers in African American Black history, right? We have a deeply rooted history in labor unions across this country. Good morning to you. How are you, sir?
Good morning, my brother. How you doing?
Doing good.
Well, certainly, what we that history is not the best of history, not from the start. Granted, where we are today is a lot more effective than where we were yesterday. There was a time when unions outright didn't accept us, didn't want us.
Hostile.
And when you had that great migration from the South up to the North, a lot of times for us, having worked for no wages when we came into these industrial cities, and this is where manufacturers and company owners used our labor against the unions, because we coming from a place where we had no salaries. Now we're migrating to a place where we can now get a salary. So those companies would now would hire us at a less value than what they were paying the unions. So again, that made the unions ineffective. So that was part of what brought animosity between our community and the unions. Now, that was just one reason that there was animosity between us. The other one, of course, is racism. So our start with unions wasn't the way it is today, if you will. So certainly we went through our challenges before we were accepted into the quote unquote brotherhood of the unions.
Well, and that's the history of everything in this country, right? To be sure, nothing that we have right now is reflective of how it began, because like when we think of we even think of some of the championing of someone like FDR, right? And we look at the nature of how Black people were the sacrificial lambs for the legislation for the New Deal. at the time, right? We know that Black farmers were sacrificed. We still feel the ramifications of that to this day. So there's no question. And let me, okay, the mic is better. Sorry to the audience, I had the wrong mic going at first. So there's no question about it. But then, you know, you have people, brothers like A. Philip Randolph, right? You have the various barber unions. You have Black unions, right? But in the absence of the opportunities, which you're speaking of, and the hostility, I actually want to pivot really quick. There was outright hostility, and that was one of the places where the division we've seen, where the best interest of workers on both sides of the racial spectrum, Black and white workers, the best interest has always been for workers to work together, right? But historically, it was easily exploited without question. It was easily exploited, and at the same time, you have brothers like A. Philip Randolph and others who did their work and also fought through union organizing. Brother Matt.
And, you know, even with that past, you know, I will say this, Ben, you know, when I was in my work with the NAACP in Seattle, there were times when I had cases of brothers and sisters who were in unions, and those unions did not represent as diligently and fight as hard as they could. So even though we had, you know, certainly I recognize this distorted past, I recognize that it has gotten better, but I still recognize that even in today, and I'll get calls every now and again, I'll get calls from people who are part of unions, brothers and sisters who are part of unions. And I want to put it out there, so I hope union leaders are listening. You know, we still get calls about the fact that you don't go as hard as you can for our community, for members of the brotherhood, the sisterhood who look like us. Yeah, that those calls are still coming in. So if you want to paint yourself as a union, all of us are together, then when our people get in trouble, you're supposed to have that representation. We need you to fight a little bit harder as well. But to your point,
hello, somebody.
You know, certainly when you talk about one of the most prominent Black figures within the framework of unions, you know, without question, it was A. Philip Randolph. And for those of us who do not know, A. Philip Randolph was considered one of the members of what they call the Big Six. And that would have been A. Philip Randolph, Whitney Young, James Farmer, John Lewis, MLK, and Whitney Young with the Urban League. So those were considered the Big Six of the civil rights movement. And of course, he was extremely prominent in the 1963 march or 1968 March on Washington when we had that big event. So when it came to labor movements, A. Philip Randolph of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters was one of the most effective members of our community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also, Brother Mac, one thing I want us to always do here, speaking of A. Philip Randolph, the historic figure that he was, one of the things as an aside, there is a statue of A. Philip Randolph in Back Bay Station in Boston. And it's there where they really, you know, that's the station I used to always take to go to work. And every day I would go in there and be able to read about that history, just as an aside. But every day here, I think we need to root the show in Black history. So what happened today in Black history, Brother Mac?
Thank you, brother. And sometimes I get twisted on the March on Washington. I had a moment, but and if I did say 1960, I think I said 1963, but I just want to be sure. 1963 March on Washington. But today in Black history, a brother that most of us have heard, George Washington Carver, he actually died on this day. And so again, one of the things I talk about in the calendar is what actually happened on this day. So literally on this day in 1943, the great George Washington Carver passed away. And what we remember him from, you know, if there's one person out of our history that we would hear a lot of is George Washington Carver. But some of the things I want you to understand is I was amazed when I researched him that the brother actually got his degree from Iowa, what is now Iowa. It was our Iowa Agricultural College, today is Iowa State University. So that's where he got his advanced degree. And so Booker T. Washington, wanting to have such Black talent in front of our students actually convinced George Washington Carver to come down to Tuskegee. So I remember going on the campus of Tuskegee and literally going down to the lab that the great Booker T. Washington did his work on. Now, the other thing that you should remember is that in all of his research and patents and inventions, the brother actually came up with a certain paint that caught the attention of the Ford Motor Company. And so Henry Ford would come down there and meet with George Washington Carver on the regular. So at the time, you know, the only color that you had for cars was black. But it was George Washington Carver that came up with the paint. And that's why Ford, for a long time, Ford was a huge beneficiary to Tuskegee University. So today in Black history, we mourn the loss of a great Black intellectual scientist, George Washington Carver.
Wow. You know what? And that last part, I certainly did not know that connection with the Ford paint and them being a beneficiary they need to start beneficiarying them again.
Without if you go back and if anybody just simply Google George Washington Carver and Ford, that's all, just put George Washington Carver and Ford, and you'll see exactly the kind of relationship they had. The other thing that I do want to make mention of is that one of the most prestigious medals given, honors given to members of our community, literally comes from the NAACP, and it's called the Spingarn Medal. The Spingarn Medal, they would recognize one African American person, and it can come in a multitude of fields. And when you go back and you look at the Spingarn Medal, the list of recipients is a very impressive one. And so as we go through this process, we'll hear about the Spingarn Medal. And so I just want to put that on the minds of folks. But in 1923, the great George Washington Carver was honored by the NAACP with the Spingarn Medal.
Wow. Today in Black history, Dr. Mack, they need to get that calendar. Where can they get the calendar, the Black History calendar? And of course, where can they digitally experience it? Yeah.
So to get the calendar, www.blackheritagedays.com. The calendar is $19.99, free shipping. So I'll get it out to you. Digitally, what I'll start doing is I'll bring my Google device in here. And so you'll get a chance to hear what happened. But because I was able to put a person from Black history on every day of the year, something that was germane to that person, it caught the attention of Google. And so Google licensed the content from me. And so if you have a Google Assistant, you can just simply ask Google what happened on this day in Black history, and you'll get the Cliff Notes. And so, Ben, if you don't mind, what I like to do is just bring the Google Assistant in here. Yeah. And so when we want to find out what happened on that day in Black history, Ben, you'll be able to ask the question.
Yes, sir.
The Google Assistant will simply answer it. And so we'll be able to get that information.
I tell you what we can do after the break, if you can hang out, you can bring it in. I don't know how big it is, but
yeah. Very good. I'll do
bring it in. And we'll go. Listen, let's go over some news stories, because there's something happening on the January 6th front that was really interesting. Now, I've had occasion to go on MSNBC with Ari Melber, pretty cool guy. You never really see Ari kind of get exasperated with the guest, but he was talking with Peter Navarro last night, and they were talking about what happened on January 6th. And as Peter Navarro was describing what happened, he was saying it as if there was nothing wrong with the activities that were coming out of his mouth. And Ari Melber was like, no, my friend, that's called a coup. Let's take a look at this so we can see the absurdity of what Peter Navarro and the Ted. Let's run the clip.
And all this required was peace and calm on Capitol Hill. And at 1 p.m., Senator Ted Cruz and Gosart, a representative, started the Green Bay sweep beautifully, challenging the results of Arizona. Here's the most important thing I can tell you about this. The thing that we were trying to deal with was a media which refused to acknowledge any kind of possible fraud or irregularities.
Yeah, you just described this plan as a way to take an election where the outcome was established by independent secretaries of state, by the voters of those states, and legal remedies have been exhausted with the Supreme Court never even taking, let alone siding with, any of the claims that you just referred to. So legally, they went nowhere. Then you will use the incumbent losing party's power, that was the Republican Party that was losing power, to overtake and reverse that outcome. Do you realize you are describing a coup?
No, I totally reject many of your premises there. First of all, the election was still in doubt and would be until it was certified. Second, the idea that secretaries of state, particularly in Michigan and Pennsylvania, were like innocent parties. I mean, Jocelyn Benson and Kathy Bookfar, the secretaries of state in Michigan and Pennsylvania, they were put in power by George Soros for the express purpose of shifting the playing field.
So he goes to George Soros, the standard. I don't even want to take that part, Brother Mac. The fact that they could get on national television and with a straight face say, we want to institute a coup. They get called on it, say, brother, this is a coup. And then he said, I reject that premise. That's some caucasity right there.
No, Ben. That is what they do. See, this is the reason why when you take a look at American history, see, this is what he is setting the place for. And this is the most dangerous word that one could encounter. It's called a revisionist. He's just simply sitting there, and he is in his quintessential format becoming a revisionist. And a revisionist will tell you, you can sit there and watch history, and a revisionist will explain it to you like what you saw really isn't what you saw.
That's right.
This is what really happened. So in this case, and you got to understand, Ben, that when we're talking about today's Republican Party, because yesterday's Republican Party was a good party. You know, we need to remember yesterday's Republican Party was the party of the abolitionists. Those were folks who led us, you know, who helped fight to end slavery. But today's Republican Party, totally different beast. And so when you take a look at history, the way it is today, absent of what is going on, you know, absent of our contributions, these were revisionists who wrote this history. So here, what the Republican Party is just absolutely staring right in their face is that they were the party who tried to tackle and destroy American democracy. You put an assault on American democracy. They do not want that as their history. So I want you to remember this. There's an ideology called the lost cause, where the veterans of the Civil War, the Southern Confederate veterans, got together to revise history. And they wanted to paint history as, number one, we didn't start the Civil War. It wasn't fought over slavery. And that ideology is what permeated through all of our history books. And they were extremely effective with that. So trust and believe that if we don't keep it up, Ben, if you don't talk about what happened on January 6th, so that we all are very clear about it, trust and believe Soros sitting there with all of his rambling would be very convincing to those who ignore what really happened on January 6th. So Ben, what I would like for you to do, for all of us, is to paint the picture of exactly what was Soros saying and exactly what happened on January 6th.
No, Navarro, what Navarro was saying, and he dropped, and Navarro dropped.
Soros, my bad, Navarro.
No, but that's exactly right. That in terms of the BS, because what actually happened on January 9th, I changed it from the 6th to the 9th. What happened on January 6th was a coup. Yes. It was the first step in a long coup. That was a dry run. It was a test run. It was a stress test of the system. Everyone knows the first time around is a test run, and they are not done yet. And what they've done really effectively, and what Peter Navarro is just kind of brushing by. There's a second clip I want us to play here. He's just brushing by the fact that they have done this at every level of our government. They've worked through the judiciary. They've worked and they purchased Congress people, and they've gotten the presidency. That's nothing to them. And now they are all out in the streets having a revolution in a system that they own. I want y'all to check this out now.
But
the barbarians at the gate, they're the barbarians at the gate of their own empire. Right. This is a white supremacist backed country, and you got white supremacists storming. That is a technique of fascism 101. They are keeping us in a perpetual state of constant revolution from their perspective, Brother Matt.
And so, Ben, what I want people to understand is this. See, Navarro said, and again, forgive me for calling him Soros. My mind is weak this morning. But what Navarro said, he said, the election was still very much in doubt. I want you to pay attention to that. He said it was very much in doubt. No, Ben, we talking January 6th. So, Ben, in the steps in this election, what was Congress there to do on January 6th?
They were there to confirm the election. They were there to confirm.
So basically, fam, what happens is the election results have come in from all across the nation. So when you hearing the host saying that the election results have been certified by these independent states, he's saying that the election results have come in from all over the place.
That's right.
And now this electoral college, which some people are getting confused about or maybe not sure about. But anyway, now that you come to Congress, the members of Congress are to push their electoral votes in on January 6th. Right, Ben?
Right.
And now what is supposed to happen? Now they are supposed to say, the state of Iowa has certified the election results. The state of Mississippi has certified the election results. State of California, all the states recognize that they have certified the election results. There was no doubt about the outcome of the election. But now, because -45 was still claiming foul for no other reason than he lost, now they decided we are not going to accept the votes of the American people. Damn the votes of the American people.
Yes,
we are going to go over there and we're gonna take the government, we're gonna take power. Now, if that sounds reckless, I didn't do it. I'm just telling you that's what happened.
That's it. Let's take a listen to this next clip. And Ari Melber is asking Peter Navarro why he thinks Vice President Mike Pence wouldn't listen to him. And he's going to, well, it gets interesting. Let's run the clip.
Wouldn't he listen to you?
Well, I talk about it in the In Trump Time book. His chief of staff, Mark Short, who is a Koch network conservative, meaning that he's a never Trumper, basically walled off Vice President Pence from the day Mark took chief of staff's duties back in 2018. And it was a sad story. Mike was always good to me until that day. The thing about Mike's betrayal of President Trump, which is really interesting, is he never shared the legal analysis of his general counsel, Greg Jape, and Mark Short.
And this may be relevant, sir, in future elections, which is, don't you think somebody would have thought of this if the incumbent administration, through the president or the vice president, could just cancel the election outcome because he goes down to the Senate? Well, then a lot of people would try to stay in power. We have an entire system designed to thwart, and I want to say this respectfully, but it's the truth, people like you, to stop people like you who think that you can anoint yourself the reviewers of the voters, of the American people, of what they lawfully did, that you trumped the Supreme Court, no pun intended. People like you are what the Constitution are designed to stop, and it worked, and it did stop you.
All right, Ari. Way to allyship that one, man. Because he said it's to stop people like you, Peter Navarro. Come on, Brother Mac.
Player, I'm gonna tell you something. I can't say that I listen to Ari a lot, right? I don't watch much, but I'm gonna tell you something. I love the fact that he just put that right out there. He was like, player, we talking about this is what the system was designed to do, to stop a fool like you.
Yes, sir.
See,
yes, sir.
And then think about what Navarro said. Because words so matter. Navarro said Pence's betrayal of Trump. No, for once in his miserable life,
that's right.
Pence saw something greater than Trump. He saw the ideology of American democracy. That is what Pence did. It was not a betrayal of Trump. It was to adhere to the will of the American people. And as Ari said, this system stopped a traitor like you, Navarro. That's exactly what I'm gonna tell you something. That piece from Ari. If you ever talk to him, Ben, tell him.
Oh, I'm gonna let him know. I'm gonna hit him up.
A1, baby. In the world of sitting there and not fooling around, he threw no punches right there.
That's right. And it's what you call, Brother Matt, courageous conversation.
Yes, sir.
And he asked for, he was like, with all due respect, people like you. All right, Ari, I felt that one, man.
Oh,
listen. It really, speaking truth to power, it happens on occasion. It doesn't happen a lot on these networks, but that was one of those moments. And one of the things that happened, Navarro really revealed, and we're going to take a break here. But one thing that I want to see if you picked up on, Brother Mac, was the civil war that's happening in the Republican Party that Navarro just pointed out. He said that there's the Koch brother faction. That's the faction that walled off Vice President Pence, meaning that Vice President Pence knew that when this all was over, he could fall back on the Koch brother network. Mm-hmm. And then you have the new Trump faction that's taking over the party. And Peter Navarro has chosen the side of Trump. And so really interesting, the civil war going on there.
And just remember, Ben, Trump is in love with the ideology of what President Xi over in China is doing, right? So Xi done set it up where he's president for life. Trust and believe, China, Trump wants that. He wanted that very same system. And you got white boys in power, just like this cat Navarro. And when you look at, Ben, I'll tell you another thing. If you play the clip again, look at Navarro's face. You can look at his face and see, okay, I have practiced this line of BS. I just want to be sure. Look at his face. That is not the face of a convicted man in his principles and belief. This is a snake oil salesman at best. And I will say this to you, that if you don't pay attention to what's going on, I just tried to imagine, not that I did not know what was happening on January 6th. Navarro, with all of his words, sounds very, very convincing. But you look at his face. Look at that face and tell me that when a dude is slapping you side the head like Ari is slapping him, he's saying, look, I know I'm trying to sell you a lot of BS.
You see, this is why I don't come on this show. This is why I don't go on MSNBC in the first place. He's regretting it right now. Oh, man. Peter Navarro was not expecting that from Ari. And this is, listen, the truth is like when you catch the rabbit, you better know what to do with it. And a lot of times, like as journalists, you get people in your presence, and some people won't ask the real questions, or some people won't draw the real conclusions.
Absolutely.
More than anything else. People will avoid that conclusion.
And that is the thing that frustrates me the most about watching shows like that, is when you won't come hard. And if a person, you got them on the hook. Now press the issue.
That's right.
And at that point, that was one of the most beautiful points of journalism that I ever saw. When Ari says to him, the system worked. It was designed to stop people just like you. Now, in the world of democracy and white power, for you to tell a white powerful man that the system was designed, this American democratic system that has worked beautifully in its transfer of power, was designed to stop shit like what you was trying to do. And that white man just sits there and looks at it, Ben,
and can't do nothing about it because it's the truth.
But when he sits there, when you hit somebody with that, I mean, back in the day, somebody would have said, "How dare you insult me? I challenge you to a duel." And you go outside and duel.
He ain't saying nothing right there, Brother Mac. We're gonna hold it there. Let's hold it there for a second. We're gonna cut over to a break. DJ Exclusive is in the house when we come back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. DJ Exclusive, good morning, man. It's
good morning, y'all. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Get your coffee, your tea, your drinks, whatever it is you need to get your morning started. It's your boy James Blake Williams. DJ Exclusive is in the building. Good morning, everybody. Come on. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Black woman, baby, we can do this all night. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Come on. Hey, slide to the left, slide to the right. Black woman, baby, we can do this all night. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Come on. Hey, slide to the left, slide to the right. Black woman, baby, we can do
wrapped around your waist. I love the way that you be twirling to the bass.
Good morning, y'all. Good morning, y'all.
On a Friday, DJ playing all of your favorites. I'm digging your flavor.
Welcome again to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show, y'all. Good morning to y'all.
Let this be real inside. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Rock with me, baby, we can do this all night. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, slide to the left, slide to the right. Rock with me, baby, we can do this all night. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Come on, come on, come on. Hey, slide to the left, slide to the right. Rock with me, baby, we can do this all night. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, slide to the left, slide to the right. Rock with me, baby, we can do this all night. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Come on, come on, come on.
One desirable. I do what I want when I want and how I want it.
All right, shout out to everybody that's in the chat room. I see so good morning to you. Running right to Dragon Daddy, what's going on? Ryan in this room. Mark X, good morning, brother. Laverne, what's going on? Roller Dragon is here. Brendan Johnson. How good morning. Who word on my shoulder? Good morning to you. What's going on? Brother Chuck Diesel, shout out to Brother Chuck Diesel, man. KFC! What's going on, brother? Yeah, my Shoot the Dragon. Brother Lateef, good morning. Afraid not. Kareem Ransom, Brendan Johnson, Iris Jones, Alicia, good morning. Dragon, good morning to you. That's Brother G-Man, what's going on, G? Tyler Hackman, Simpson, Fabulous Answer, good morning, Mother Beginning. Simpson, good morning, y'all. Miss Sue Beasley. How's everybody? Good morning, y'all. On and on it goes. Good morning. Yeah, Hustler. What's going on? Shout out to Tiger who finally made it home after being kept at his wife's job this Monday afternoon. Yeah, that's a long time, man. Leslie Lynn, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Happy New Year as well for you.
Baby, you set my soul on fire every morning and every evening. Ooh. And maybe we can't get any higher. But if you like to take a ride, we can discover what we're hiding. Making you move, it sure looks good. Playing it cool like you know you should. Gonna smile, that's one of a kind. And I can't get you off my mind. Yeah. I'm running too hot, I need to cool me down. I'm flying so high, I don't see the ground. I'm running too hot, I need to cool me down. I'm
All right,
flying so high, I don't see the ground. Baby, you set my
That's the
soul
back.
on fire every morning and every evening.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Welcome back, everybody. It is January 5th, 2022. I keep trying to say 2021, but welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. I'm joined by DJ Exclusive, brother from another mother, as well as none other than the Mac, brother Carl Mack. He is in the building. We are Georgia-less today. Georgia Fort is on mommy duty as well as sick duty. You know, there's just... In addition, there's still regular colds going around, and so she is there. But we're sending warm thoughts and prayers over there to our sister Georgia. Gentlemen, how y'all doing this morning?
You know, I'm cool in the gang, and brother DJ, I don't even think yesterday when we hooked up, we got a chance to just you and I exchange pleasantries. So happy New Year to you, my brother.
Yeah, Dr. Mac, happy New Year to you too, sir. It's good to see you as always.
Yeah, likewise.
That's it. That's the black men magic on the air. Good morning to both of you guys. Listen, Georgia Fort's not here, but nevertheless, we're still on the clock with Georgia Fort.
There you go.
Georgia Fort, as an independent journalist that she is, focuses on tremendously so is a fight for justice for Black lives. This next story intersects the fight for justice for Black lives as well as the fight for peace in our communities, fellas. George Floyd's 4-year-old niece was shot. She was shot while in bed, and thankfully she is recuperating after surgery. Now, this is not the first story that any of us have heard about our precious babies being shot, sometimes killed, while they are sleeping in bed because of violence in our various communities. And the tragedy of this particular story is that the compounded tragedy is that it struck our the niece, the 4-year-old niece of our brother George Floyd, who we know was murdered in the most vicious fashion by Derek Chauvin. David, if we have a clip, let's run the clip of what's happening with that story. All right, we'll get the clip. Oh, there it is. With audio. Okay, we have no audio on that, but that's fine. Brother Mac, this is one of those things that I'm thinking about my friend in Chicago, J. Mal Green. He comes on the show, and he regularly asks the question, "What the hell is going on in Chicago?" This wasn't Chicago, but the reality of it is that, you know,
if I'm not mistaken, Ben, I think the niece lives in Houston, correct?
Houston. It's an epidemic around the country, Brother Mac. What are your thoughts about this collision, right? It's the absurdity of the collision where our brother was killed by police violence, and then his niece, thankfully she's alive and recuperating, but shot in bed. And we still don't know the source of the violence. But my mind is already speculating. I just want to get your thoughts on this.
You know, Ben, just like there was an uproar at these police killings of Black Lives Matter, there is no doubt that there needs to be an uproar within our individual communities against this type of nonsense. You know, when anybody would ride around and recklessly shoot into a home with the possibility of committing an atrocity similar to what has happened to this little angel. You know, words like snitch, I won't tell, you know, none of that shit matters to me no more. Because you lower and low, you're not worth that. And that type of behavior cannot be tolerated. Now, it's one thing for us to focus on the behavior aspect of it. But again, it's another to not focus on trying to create some level of hope in our community, some intervention in our community that won't place in anybody's mind that this type of behavior is acceptable. You know, so you know, you just imagine, man, what happens when you have school systems that fail miserably. You can't get a high school degree.
That's
you
right.
Tell me, what are you going to do to make an honest living in this country?
That's right.
You can't get a college degree. What are you going to do to make an honest living in this country? So when that educational system fails as miserably as as the American education system is failing our children and they are left with no hope, we're going to see the type of behavior that we're seeing in cities all across the country. And that's, and being from Jackson, my mom and I have gotten to the point where it is just exhausting to talk about the number of lives that are being lost in Jackson.
Yeah. Jackson's a rough town, man.
Right? Because these kids are coming out with no education, no aspiration, no sight into a future. And so they just act, they behave in this reckless way. So, it's one thing to look at the act itself and be disappointed and be horrified about it. But it's another thing when you go a little bit deeper and start looking at, what type of person would do this? Well, a person that has no hope, no aspects of a future. And a lot of that begins, you could say it begins at home, but then it is exasperated when you go into a system of education that is supposed to, give you the tools so that you can go out there and make an honest living.
Yeah.
And now we're dropping out of college. We're not even going to college, dropping out of high school, not doing well in school, not valuing that education. And now you're in a peril situation like this. But,
Brother Mac, I'm thinking I've covered so many stories. People, there's a game that's a rhetorical game that's played by white folks, white conservatives particularly, that whenever we fight for justice for black folks, they're always like, what's going on what about Chicago? We asked that question ourselves, and we don't need you to say nothing about it. We don't need there's no solution for the black community that's going to come from whiteness and white supremacy and all of these different systems that were set up to create the conditions that we now have to go into the communities. You're right, Brother Mac. We now have the responsibility of going into the communities and saving our people from a system that was designed to destroy them from the first place. And when I look at these young brothers who are overwhelmingly the ones committing this particular type of violence in our communities, let's not get it twisted. We're not talking about the mysterious black on black crime, because I would tell you about white on white crime. I would tell you about Hispanic on Hispanic crime. I got all the receipts from the FBI. They're all about the same. Okay. But we're talking about the violence that does happen that ends up taking the lives of our babies in our tribes, in our communities. And it is a direct extension of what you said, Brother Mac. It's a direct extension of the fact that these kids have no hope. But in the midst of having no hope, you got all of the wealth of this empire flashing before their eyes on Instagram and on social media and on the Real Housewives of this and the glamorous of that and the money and the making it rain here. They got all of that flashing in front of them every single day. But they go home and live in a system that was designed to oppress them since before they were born.
And Ben, and I need people to understand exactly what you're saying when you say a system that was designed. Now, I want us to understand what that means. When Brother Ben is saying to you a system that was designed, we're talking Houston, Texas. Okay, family, let's go back to 1865. Let's go back to June 19th, 1865. Juneteenth. Go back there. So now these are the last blacks who were enslaved. And Granger comes in, issues General Order number 3. You're now free. Okay. What did they do? What happened? Did all of a sudden they said, look, here's land so you can go work your own land? Did they have banks set up for them? Did they have businesses set up? What happened to our people? Now that all of a sudden you're free, what happened? What did the system do? Did the system give us land?
A brand new system to oppress them in a whole new way.
No. The system now instituted something called sharecropping that puts you damn near as close to slavery as it can possibly be. So this system has never allowed us. And when you talk about the legacy of slavery, that never allowed us to get out there and get stable on our own feet. Now, yes, you got people who have made it through that. But when we talk about the systematic impact of it, and now everybody understands that if you're going to get there, you got to get through education. Just go look at education within the Black community since the end of chattel slavery. That system has always been painted to try to keep us out. If we didn't have the best of facilities, we fought to integrate. Once we integrated, they started gentrification and leaving. And then public schools as we know them. I am in the richest county in the country for Black folks, Prince George County. And the public school systems here in Prince George's County is an absolute atrocity. It is an absolute atrocity. It is horrific. I'm telling you, I'm sitting there watching when my oldest son went to school here. I can count the number of days that my son had homework. I can count those days. So public schools here, public schools across the country have failed our children miserably. So when Ben talks about that system, he's talking about a system that's been in play, and it's just like that coronavirus. It's been mutating to change.
That's right.
And
That's
make
right.
sure that anytime it saw any type of escape clause, it was now going to strangle.
It morphs.
Now, even though we talked about it yesterday, this brother Travis Hunter, one of the highest ranked, and now he elects not to go to a PWI, predominantly white institution, but decides to go to an HBCU, historical Black college, Jackson State University. Trust and believe the NCAA and the powers that be are going to be sure that they institute a rule that won't allow a talented Black student to take his talents to his Black community. Because trust and believe, family, if all of the best Black high school athletes went to HBCUs,
come on, man,
I promise you, there'd be a transfer of wealth, because you can call it what you want to, but sports in this country is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And trust and believe that money would now be coming into our colleges and universities so that we can now have control of that. Trust and believe they're going to change the rules.
That's right. That's right. Well, they're going to try to change the rules, Brother Mac, but, we have been very efficient managers of this empire. We know how to work the system. We ain't going to let them change it that easily, right? Y'all not going to change the system before our boys get a piece of that money, before that money starts coming to our neighborhoods. The devil is a liar.
But being the point that I wanted to make in that, and not to deflect off of the tragedy of what happened to our baby girl, is that when you talk about a system that has been designed, this is what we want to talk about. We want to talk about how this system continuously evolves to strangle the hope
and that's
away from our young brothers and sisters. But this type of behavior, in addition to us dealing with these systemic issues, we also have to get down in these streets and on the grassroots and deal with issues like that. Because right now, trust and believe this, family.
Yeah.
If this had been somebody who shot one of these high-ranking governmental officials' daughters, there would be a manhunt of epic proportions to find the culprits who did it. And I think the same thing needs to happen in Houston. We need to take to them streets and find exactly who did it. And when we did it, we need to take some woodshed kind of discipline about that business.
Y'all better hope the police get to you first.
You better hope they do.
My biggest issue with this though is that I kind of hate. I ain't gonna say I hate that we covered it, because it's been going on a long time. Forever. But the thing is, it just popped up on the radar because it's George Floyd's niece.
Right.
There was a 5-year-old girl that lost her life here in Atlanta, 2021. I think it was amid the Rashard Brooks killings and everything. So it's just like, I just hate that it popped up because it's his niece. Yeah. When this goes on too far, it's too far coming in the communities.
Correct.
Way too common.
Yeah,
I think every city in this country, every predominantly Black area, not even city, just a predominantly Black area in this country has a story about a baby who's sleeping. Like, what else? Yeah. What else was this baby supposed to do, y'all? Yeah. She was sleep in bed. She wasn't out in the streets. She wasn't out playing. She wasn't in the park, because Black folks can't play in a park. She was in her doggone bed. And Brother Mac, you're right.
But Ben, the other thing I want you to also remind us of, because I don't have the facts and figures on it, but see, when they start this Black on Black crime BS, I need you to remind us what those stats are, Because again, America has done a very, the difficulty of covering this. And even though the three of us, our brothers, even though us three brothers have not sat down and privately talked about it, the piece that makes us uneasy is because we know that America has painted a picture of the criminalization of us as a people. And so we're sitting there going, damn, now we got to talk about this shit and it don't look good. But listen,
That's right.
But what we do know, Ben, what we do know, brother DJ, is that if you go into any community, you look at who commits the crime against white folks. White folks commit the crime against white folks.
Oh, yeah.
It's always in a race because, again, facts show you that people who are closest to you, that's where the nonsense starts. So Ben, always remind us, in case people want to now try to go down this path that America has painted so beautifully of the criminalization and of Black folks, like that's just the way we are. No, family, this is just the way American society is. You can go inside any race, any culture, and you're going to find percentage-wise, where those crimes are being committed.
Yeah,
I'm looking for my there was a meme I did, a graphic that I did years ago, and I'm talking like 10 years ago, debunking it because the FBI data reflects exactly what you're saying. And when I get it, I'm gonna stamp it. We'll have it so that we can bring it up on the screen every day going forward.
Always keep it close.
What you said, what you say is true. Because here's the breakdown. Black people kill Black people at about 90%, right? White people kill white people at about 85%. Latino, it was about 86, 87%. We're all within the same exact margin of error in terms of, and it's because, honestly, Brother Mac, you kill the people you live around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Period. So it's a statement, it's a testament to how segregated our communities still are. The fact that I can say the Black area, in every city, there is a Black area, shows you exactly how unsegregated we act, but we still have all of the problems of segregation. Mm-hmm. We don't have the Black wealth, but we got all of the squalor and all of the blight that came with integration. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's really one of those things, y'all speaking facts, like the data shows, like, no, it's just not Black on Black crime. I think what irks me the most is that it's happening in our community when it doesn't need to. That the data say what it say, but F all that is that we doing it to ourselves, y'all. We ain't these. Gotta remember where we at, bro. This logo up in the corner, but it's the fact that we doing it to ourselves, and it's just like, man, y'all calm the hell down.
That's right.
We don't need to have another. We already got targets on our back. We don't need to have extra stuff going on.
And see, DJ and Ben, this is why I'm saying within our community, there needs to be, a gathering of folks where these perpetrators are found.
Yes.
And again, like you said, Ben, and you better hope that the police can get to you before we get to you.
Yes, brother man.
We need to take our community back like that. This kind of behavior.
I'm looking for a few good men. Anyway, DJ Exclusive, take us to break before I get in trouble. When we come back, like it or not, with Queen Azor, that conversation needs to continue. We're not gonna stop that conversation. Go ahead, Brother Mac, real quick.
Ben, before we go, you asked me about the Google Assistant, so I got it next to me. So if you don't mind.
Oh, yes. We were going to do it in this segment. All right, let's do. Let me try it. Hey, Google, what happened today in Black history?
On January 5th, 1964, George Washington Carver was born into slavery in Diamond Grove, Missouri. He was not only the first Black to attend Iowa Agricultural College, but also the school's first Black faculty member. Accepting a position on the Tuskegee Institute faculty, Dr. Carver conducted extensive research with the peanut and soybean. Through his work, he developed more than 300 products from the peanut, including milk, butter, paper, face cream, ink, and dyes. Dr. Carver died on this day in 1943, adapted from Black Heritage Day 4 calendar by author, lecturer, and civil rights activist Dr. Karl Mack.
All right, now, Ben, the only problem that they had there is because the machine reads it. Somebody typed in the wrong date. They said he was born in 1964 when he was born in 1864.
Right.
So I'll contact Google and they'll get that squared away.
Hey, James, not everybody can just say, I'm going to contact Google and get them to correct their error.
Okay, I'm going to contact Google and sit on hold for about 5 days. Waiting to talk to some goddamn body.
DJ Exclusive. Take us to a break. When we come back, like it or not, with Queen Azor, it's going down.
So
that was funny.
Tell me what it is.
All right, y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Like it or not, it's starting up next here on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show, y'all. Good morning, everybody. Lord, good morning.
Don't tell me what it ain't. They try to throw salt, it just made the pressure raise. Going through a phase, gotta get myself out it. Don't talk about it, boy, they said you gotta be about it. So I be trying to
Hollywood, good morning to you. Shout out to Brother Chuck Diesel out there playing them trolls this morning. We talking real records. That's okay. We talk records back now.
On the interstate in traffic, but I swerve out. What's the moves for the night? What's the word now? What's the link to me up? We could go.
Pioneer, good morning to you.
She got hella features. Give me hella
Northern you, good morning.
She be blowing shisha. Reefer on me loud. Hope them boys don't creep up. I don't know a thing if you do not speak up.
Juanita, good morning. Man Shovel, what's going on?
Front like I ain't what you want. I ain't here to stun. Let me take you out for lunch. I'ma get you drunk, yeah, filling on your buns. Licks in the blunt. I got ash in my
Good morning, Miss Sophia.
I don't give a
Marjorie, good morning.
Girl, you the one I
Mark
want.
S, I was getting to you, y'all. Real quick, had to drop the music out. Shout out to Mark S in the chat room who turns at 80,000 today. Happy birthday, Mark S, man. Y'all send the brother some love. Happy birthday, Mark.
Fire. She got me feeling higher than the sour. So I'm trying to feel how I feel inside her. I asked her what she doing, she like nada. So she just chillin', about to get up in the shower. I said, alright, cool, I'ma be there in an hour. I just wanna live like a Kuna and Matata. I ain't got no time for no baby mama drama. All about my comments, my letters, no tomatoes. Always bragging what they got up in their wallet. Ain't no really telling if we let her see tomorrow. Get it on my own, I ain't really tryna bar. So I stay fly, gotta dress up in designer.
Anna Loom, good morning to you. Anytime, Brother Mark, anytime.
Tell me what it is. What you want from me? What you want from me? Tell me what it is, don't tell me what it ain't. They try to throw salt, it just made the pressure raise. Going through a phase, gotta get myself out it. Don't talk about it, boy, they said you gotta be about it. So I be trying to face the world head on. Front seat riding, cruising down the meadows. Pedal to the meadow, cool breeze blowing down the windows. Calm trees, blowing trees, get that boy some headroom.
Boondocks Dragon, good morning to you. Kelly Low Game, good morning.
Just give it up. I'm not your girl and I never will be. Don't call me up. Don't waste your time.
One Lost Spirit, good morning, brother. Happy New Year to you.
Look somewhere else, heal for nothing. Just give it up.
Good morning, Mom and Daddy. I know y'all watching somewhere. Good morning. Good morning, Q.
Don't get me wrong. You and I could have fun together when I feel done with having fun on my own. It's better to care for yourself than rely on somebody else. So don't get me wrong. I'm just riding alone. Just walk away, 'cause I got no intentions of hanging out with you tonight. Don't look my way. If you want a problem, I'll give you a problem, alright? If you want love, just give it up. You got the wrong girl. You got the wrong, you got the wrong, you got the wrong girl, girl. You got the wrong, you got the wrong, you got the wrong girl. This is my time. I'm feeling good, rule every party. See how I shine when I'm alone. Nothing can stop me. You should go out, meet someone else, someone who gets you. Don't stick around.
All right, then you better hurry up. The song coming up, man.
Don't get me wrong. You and I could have fun together when I feel done.
Elizabeth
With
Bowman,
having
good
fun on
morning.
my own, it's better to care for yourself than rely on somebody else. So don't get me wrong. I'm just riding alone. Just walk away, 'cause I got no intentions of hanging out with you tonight. Don't look my way. If you want a problem, I'll give you a problem,
me gotta use you when he ready. Man, it's crazy how my brother said it could have been my cell. It's either prison or a grave, that's what everybody tell me. Man, life ain't a beach, it's a female dog. I'm staying 10 toes down, though I still might fall. Oh yeah, now I done came through, knocking pictures off you all. Cause loving people who persecute you, it's still a tough. Be a light up on my path and a lamp under my feet. I know my faith strong, but my flesh still kinda weak. When that victory be looking like the verge of defeat, and I feel like disrespect, help me turn my other cheek and say sticks and stones may break my bone, but your words can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, I ain't been right more than I've been wrong, and it still can't hurt me. No, it just can't hurt me. No. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, no, no. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No. See, it's hard to be polite. It's easy being petty. Mama used to tell me, gotta use you when you're ready. Cause I ain't working on my own timing. Ain't got no diamonds on me, but I stay shining. Yeah, yeah. They say the world would be a better place if we take out the hate. Yeah. Let's keep it real, it'd be better if we just subtract the fake. Yeah, so be a light up on my path and a lamp under my feet. I know my faith strong, but my flesh still kinda weak. When that victory be looking like the verge of defeat, and I feel like disrespect, help me turn my other cheek and say sticks and stones may break my bone, but your words can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, I ain't been
Good morning, y'all. Christopher Shaw, good morning to you. What's going on? It's time for Like It or Not, y'all. 9 a.m. to 10:30, yeah. Like It or Not is on your channel, yeah. Politics and culture is we change skin like we supposed to, yeah. Interviews and all the news, we get to choose what gets the views. Like It or Not with Queen Azor, it's starting now, so stick around. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, y'all stick around. Oh, Rebecca Azor is coming through. You know she got a good story for you. Oh, Benjamin, that's my dog. This is his show. He's a politics pro. I am your DJ. DJ exclusive. Y'all know. Marcus, let's live for you, Marcus. It's your Sleeves and birthday. Happy birthday, Marks. Like it or not. Sarah AP, good morning to you. Happy New Year. Like it or not, y'all stick around. Oh, like it or not, it's starting now. Like it or not, it's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, people.
Good morning, good morning. Oh, no, that wasn't me.
No, I just said, but the bundles, the life.
Let it go.
You're giving life. Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not.
She giving big Lion King energy this morning. I see you, Rebecca. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Exactly. We both are taken aback. Rebecca, you're looking liveless. I'm just making up stuff this morning.
Thank you.
Maybe it's the hair over the shoulders going down to the chest. Maybe that's what it is. I think that's what it is, man. Because every time I'm like, damn, Rebecca. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So let's try it again now, because obviously, as you all can tell, we don't see each other until we are on screen.
Right.
So welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it. Let me adjust my camera for you folks here. All right, right there. There we go. There we are.
All right, now there we go.
I'm not going to ask any questions about anybody's wires and setup because
these
I'm still trapped in the closet.
Girl, they's all in.
Throw it back like that there.
Right. Okay. Well, look so clean. Look.
You
right back.
looking like you live on the leading edge of gentrification. You live in somebody's white neighborhood, don't you?
I do. Very white.
Do?
Actually, my little brother's in town visiting, and he came over. And
Oh.
he's just like, I really love your space. I was like, thank you. I want everybody who visits my space to always have, like, when they come in, it's just a good vibe because I don't let everybody into my space. But when they come in, just a nice, good vibe. But it's the mountains. He was saying, like, I see what you're saying. The mountains behind me in my view, like, they help me. Like when I'm having such a terrible day and I just sit down on the balcony.
Oh no, that's
and I just really watch the sunrise or sunset or just watch whatever weather is going down, even the rain. Like it's just always a beautiful. Have you
been to Costa Rica before?
No.
You gotta go because I mean it might probably just remind you of Haiti because of like the mountains and the valleys. It's beautiful.
That's what I was about to say about Jamaica. That was like the main thing about being there. The best thing were the views. It's just like waking up, being on the beach. You see the mountains across the water because you're looking across Montego Bay, so you see everything. And just like that was like the best thing. You like that made everything better for me.
Yeah, I have a Jamaica trip coming up. I've been pushing it back since November because you know every type of COVID in the world. But I do have, so I don't know if I'm gonna go in February because this is now November, December, January, February. So I don't know because February is tomorrow. So I may be going, for my birthday in May, God willing. But I keep pushing it back because the ticket is not refundable, but it can be moved around. So I'm gonna move it around like some what they call them things, the chess pieces until I get to that trip. Okay.
Right. Rebecca, what part you going to?
I am gonna go to Montego Bay.
Okay.
And I'm going to go to one of the ratchet. And I say ratchet because I always go to something high end. But I'm going to go to, it's not going to be ratchet, but it's going to have like, first of all, going to Jamaica itself is just like, it's different from just like saying, oh, I'm going to Mexico. No offense.
Yeah, very much
or I'm
so.
going to, Costa Rica or whatever those places are, right? When you go somewhere where it's going to be black, and then cultural black, it's an experience. So I went on the YouTube and I saw all the girls. I said, what do girls be going when they go to Montego Bay? Where they be going when they go to Jamaica? They go to like these these hotels or whatever, but they have fun. Like the hotel itself, the resort itself is fun. So
I mean, honestly though, I ended up on the black side of Costa Rica. There is a black side, there's a hood side, and it's funny enough, it actually mirrors every hood in every single place I've ever been. But we had gunshots out where we were staying in Costa Rica. It wasn't until the last day. It was the last day of Costa Rica that we finally went to a resort where we could like see clear water and get massages and stuff. But we were doing research down with indigenous populations.
So fun.
And for 2 weeks we were.
You told us a story about how you was scary when you was down there. You thought you had caught.
I damn, I done told you every story, haven't I? I thought I got a brain eating amoeba. Yeah. I have really convinced myself. You got to talk to the
people. A brain eating amoeba,
bro. No, listen. You got to understand. It's real. It's real. Number one. Number two. It's in Georgia. By the way, it's in Georgia.
What's the odds? Go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
3. Okay, no, I'm gonna narrow it down. Because I do research. I'm a prolific researcher. I researched the place where we were staying, and there was an outbreak. There was a case. A boy had died at the resort across the goddamn street from where we were staying, y'all. So I'm like Monk. I did kind of lose it, and I thought because I was at the resort across the street in the same type of hot springs. There's no chlorine. Man, look, I had convinced myself my brain was going to fall out of my ears by the end of the trip.
Oh,
Ben, that's
but it didn't help. Wait, Rebecca, you remember the
get your hand out the camera, you unfocused.
You remember the professor, thank you, from he was talking about Haiti.
Elaine
Pompolis.
Oh,
Elaine Pompolis.
I can't.
He was on the trip with us, right? He could tell you all about it. But he got so sick with all of the symptoms of the brain eating amoeba, and I was like, "Damn, I'm next, dog." So anyway,
that's the thing. Everybody, I'm telling y'all, I know.
Yes, Laura. Yes.
COVID, Omicron, Omarion.
I'm like
Omarion.
Sorry.
I know that I had that thing a few weeks ago. I know. Yes, I feel like Ben is.
That's how I said yes, Laura. Yes.
But I feel like
Is
I
that what
had
she
it
said?
because I had all of the symptoms, like you said. How Alan had the symptoms. I feel like I had all of the symptoms of Omarion. The amount of days, the every single, the fever, the chills, the everything. Like I know just every piece of it. But when I got tested, I was testing negative.
Yeah.
That,
So
they
I
say
think,
that,
honestly,
that
I
one
think
of the tests doesn't pick up the Omarion virus.
what they call it, the jab. I think that it's because I got the jab. That's what they say in the streets, the jab. I think
you got the jab, Shawty.
I got the jab. So,
Hey, why they call it the COVID in the streets? They call it the COVID.
Yeah, I think
right?
you got the COVID.
You got the COVID.
Because there's so many variations. You got the COVID. You don't know which one you got. The COVID.
I remember when Kevin Hart came out too soon. It was literally like one day after literally COVID-19. And he came out with his special. And the man was like doing jokes. And he was like, yeah, we're walking around telling people, you got the vid, man? You got the vid? You got the vid? And everybody was like, it's too soon. People dying.
The Rona.
We not calling it the vid. We ain't calling it nothing.
Hey, you know what's funny though? What scared me, you know, when I knew the world was coming to an end was at the beginning of the pandemic. All of Twitter started joking about COVID. And y'all know I'm a hypochondriac. I'm basically a high functioning monk. And I'm like, I'm out there like trying to tell everybody. Rebecca, you remember I had a little breakdown. We're going to talk about mental health on the show coming up soon. But everybody on Twitter started joking about dying from COVID and getting, guess we'll, this is the end, everybody. Everybody was so laissez-faire. And I'm like, no, how are y'all joking about this at the beginning of the pandemic? I mean, we could joke about it now because, they didn't care about us. And they left us out
at the beginning, we ain't think it was that serious. So that's why we was joking. And now we got shit, that thing moved down that year. Oh yeah. Okay. Nah, this thing ain't no joke.
Oh, no,
when you start losing your friends,
members,
yes,
and friends, and people started actually losing family members and friends.
Then he was like, okay, this shit real.
Now we started looking like, I don't want to go nowhere.
Right. It's like you don't see them memes no more.
It's not fun, guys. It's real serious.
Hey, remember the meme?
It was no more parties online where we was at the club virtually.
Hey man, what happened? Those were the good old days.
Oh,
they don't even do the Zoom
party. It was like, oh no, we getting COVID
good about it.
We still the only people doing the Zoom parties. We just call them patron parties now. But we started doing Zoom parties at the beginning of the pandemic, and we just kept doing it. Everybody else stopped. I'm like, it's lonely out here now, y'all. Where's all that love and joy and laughter?
Oh no,
that was at the beginning of
they
the
started
pandemic.
calling us back into work.
Yeah, right.
They started calling us back into work.
I forgot to tell y'all that
oh boy.
It is not funny, but it's just like, oh my gosh, man. I forgot to tell y'all when I was in Jamaica, somebody passed away at the resort we was at.
Oh man. You didn't know them though. There's no connection to you, right?
No, because
so we can laugh
funny.
about it.
We just chilling, like smoking a cigarette, and then the lady that came over, and I felt so bad for her. They've been coming to the resort for 18, 20 years. Like I told you, Uncle Eric just said something. You'll see the Hedo people. Yeah, Uncle Eric. I was at hedonism, but we told y'all what hedonism was. So just think about.
I just went to
old white people at the resort. Yeah. So, but the husband passed away. Her husband passed away at the damn resort, man. I forgot to tell y'all all about that. And then went until y'all said something.
Caught up at.
Yeah.
It's not the place. Like, if I'm gonna get taken to, like, let me get caught up at a somewhere innocent.
Hey, maybe he went out with a smile.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, holy night.
Wait a minute. Wait.
The stars are brightly shining.
Because hey man, Never mind. Some conversations don't have to be public facing. Rebecca, what else is going on? What other story you got?
Right.
I don't have. Okay. No, I wanted to know what that leg was. It's really serving me thigh, leg, knees.
It's right.
Hey, you remember that movie? Rebecca, you remember the movie?
Is that a G-Raff?
A G-Raff.
It's giving me like it's about to boot over. That's what it's looking like on the side.
I can't get it out. Its head is caught, and I can't get the.
So what is that at the bottom?
It's a baby giraffe.
Oh, okay.
It's a set.
I was about to say, Rebecca, you remember the movie A Christmas Story when he had the lamp shaped like the leg?
Yes.
Yes, I thought it was too. I'm
That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like for real. I'm like, Ben, what the hell going on right there?
What you and Jada got going on? And it's in the closet too? Okay.
The baby giraffe out there like.
Let me just say, I do live. Listen. I would say this. They be shooting in my neighborhood now. They be like, I be going outside meditating, doing my little yoga stuff and communing with the universe and be like, hey, neighbor, try to turn my little neighborhood into a, back to Sesame Street.
It's not happening.
About 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm outside doing my stuff and pop, and I ain't even move. But
it has been also the new year. People because I'm reading this at the same time. People have giraffes sometimes. No, but people are still outside doing the
Where do they think bullets are going to go when you shoot up in the air?
For the new year?
Where do they think bullets are going to go when you shoot up in the air?
They're coming back down.
They're coming back down. They got to come somewhere. They don't care. They just want to shoot.
So dumb. So dumb.
They think it's like your boy. What's your boy that just got out on parole? Who threw his hat up in the air and it never came back.
Damn, Bobby Smurda.
Bobby Smurda. They be thinking these bullets like Bobby Smurda's hat, just like pop, pop.
Now that hat came back down when he got out. But listen to me. We're not. David, stop yelling at us. Golly, Jesus Christ.
David has been like on one like since Monday.
Listen.
I blame Ben. I know Ben did it.
And Ben be the leader of the one that's just literally distracting us.
Wait a minute. What's so horrible is I set up this whole thing to be like this professional show, blah blah blah, and then I get on the show and just completely just tear everything up and just go anywhere we want to go.
And he came in with a whole hoodie on. You see that?
Was he with that hoodie on the morning show, or was he?
Yes,
okay.
the whole time.
This is Solidarity Wednesdays. I wanted to dress up like I would if I was out organizing with some labor union activists.
In Levi's, what the meme say? In your panties.
I put on some Wranglers. I put on some Wranglers and some Lee jeans. If you let me, man. I'm from
Lee is still good. Lee is still a good. Okay, Al Booger.
See, I had to change rooms. People. I changed houses, but people were like, "Oh, Ben, you got money." Remember how nice my background was? "Oh, Ben, you got money." So I said, "Let me look like I ain't got money for a little while and put on a hoodie."
So you heard what Ben said. Some people change room, Ben change houses. That's money so tall. God damn!
I had to go and live the hood experience.
That's money.
I couldn't be hooded.
I'll be in the same living room for 3 years.
Same living room. Y'all know what it's like having to. As soon as I get off on this one now, I can't say that my life isn't luxury to my standards because I am.
Girl, you're over there looking like brand new money. Listen.
No, because you gotta.
You look like you live.
They say fake it till you make it. I don't really fake it till I make it. I don't fake it till I make it either. I
look like I live in Jonesboro.
No, you take that. What do you do? See, I'm manifesting luxury all 2022.
James, where you
you take your quarters and your dimes and you make it luxury for you. Just because black luxury TikTok and white luxury TikTok are telling you what you should be looking like and why. And
okay,
they want you to have only one little thing in your home and one color and whatever. Like my living room, it might look like that, but my bedroom, I have reds and purples and oranges and stuff like that. Do what you want with the money that you got. I go to a store called DD's. And
you and my mama.
I like DD's.
That's my mama's favorite store.
And when I have a couple over there, I buy nice things too. I like nice things, but you do what works for you when you got the money.
Greenbrier Mall DD's. I'll be up in there.
DD's is the
Oh,
best.
dang, Ben. Now I'm about to go up there because you know it's right down the street, bro.
Yeah,
like
DD's
I
is
do not
the
go to DD's, but my mama raves about DD's, Rebecca.
Because I
What you doing,
literally got
mama? Oh,
Vera
I'm on the
Wang
way to
shades.
DD's.
I literally got Vera Wang shades from DD's. And I say this because I was dating a guy that told me, because I bought him some luxury stuff for his birthday a while back. And I came up on some money. So I got, but listen, I say this because I was dating him. And then I remember when we first got together, it was like we were able to do whatever, shop at DD's, grave about DD's and stuff like that. And then he bought me Chanel and stuff like that. Then it turns around after that, he's like, oh, we're not doing, he said, we and I bought him something. And he's like, we're not doing, what he said, we're not doing DD's no more. We're not doing Burlington anymore. We just do like, what was it? Celine bags and this and that. I said, no, we can do Celine bags and DD's and Burlington and whatever I want to do, because Dollar Tree still holds it down.
Okay, I was just about to say Dollar Tree. I was just about to get so hyped.
Dollar Tree still holds it down.
Dollar Tree. My wife took me to Dollar Tree for Christmas.
You mean Dollar
and I was like, Dollar Tree,
because now it's plus. Mine in my area hasn't gone plus yet, but it's Dollar Tree plus because it's like $1.50 now. But it
David is really David is really letting all the chat rooms. He's in every single one of the separate chat rooms saying, guys, I'm out of control here. I don't have any control over this. David, trust black people, David. We got it under control.
This just shows the man can't control it. Stop playing. The man.
This is my passive aggressive way of letting that white man know who really run the show. No joke.
Leave David alone.
Leave David alone.
Anywho,
Okay.
I say all that to say, whatever luxury life you want to live, it's your life. You live that life. It's 2022. Don't let nobody tell you how to live your life with your $10 or your $10,000. You do what needs to be done. Now, moving forward and moving on. There's so much in the news. And you know what? I actually wanted to just follow you guys up, not really go into deep detail because I'm still getting details on these stories, but just follow you guys up with some Haiti news. And before we do that, I know I didn't get a chance first and foremost to say late belated happy Haitian Independence Day to all my Haitians.
Yes.
It lands on January 1st, so you guys are forced while you celebrating your new year to be reminded of the first Black free republic. We wouldn't have it any other day. That is literally Haiti. Okay, 1804. And I love, we drink soup joumou. We're probably still drinking it today. Soup joumou is our soup that we eat every first of the year. It was a soup that the French
stinking up the house, but it tastes so good.
Yeah, it don't stink up the house, baby. It's pumpkin soup, and it's from the Haitians. We never have food that smells. The Americans told us that, and y'all cook chitlins. But
wait. Why'd you go for blood? Wait. Hold on. She called us out.
Ben, we're talking about the Haitian Independence Day, so we can move forward with the Haitian story because I do not want to get caught.
You just took my life out of me, Rebecca.
But because you said some things that it gave me some triggers. But anywho, no, pumpkin soup does not. Squash
she just
soup,
took my
whatever.
head off.
The French people didn't want us to drink the soup joumou or their soup, so we took it on the first after we done murdered them cold-blooded. So after we done rebelled and murdered them cold-blooded, we took that same thing that they told us that we couldn't eat, and we ate it.
That's right.
And we remixed it.
Oh man!
And we call it soup joumou. It's our freedom soup, and we drink it every. Well, I know you guys do greens, and you guys do black-eyed peas and stuff. Soup joumou is ours. So that's how we bring in our.
Fixed it for me before, and it tastes amazing.
It's amazing. So and now, after with that being said, Happy New Year to all of you guys.
I have to go and find my head. My head is on the floor on the other side of the room because
I didn't get a chance to say Happy New Year to you guys.
Us Negroes, we really be cooking some chitlins. Happy New Year. Man, I'm gonna go heat up some chitlins in a few minutes.
I'm glad that nobody in my family, my mama's side, daddy's side, nobody cooked chitlins, and I've never smelled it. And I'm so grateful.
A good food. I heard that.
Damn, Nat, I hate chitlins. I ate chitlins once and never again. I'm good. It's real chewy, Rebecca.
I got a little tip. I got a little tip of chitlin, and I realized what the hell it was I was eating. I said, "Nah, I'm good, bro." and then they had some,
exactly.
then they offered me some. I love y'all. And my in-laws gonna put me. I love y'all. Don't put me out the family. But then they offered me some barbecue raccoon. I put it in my mouth. I tasted a little bit of it. Now the barbecue sauce was popping, but I realized that it was ridiculous coon.
Barbecue coon.
I couldn't eat it. So
Barbecue.
Listen, Rebecca. Now you and I have had extensive conversations. You're right, and I realized that I kind of hit on a trigger, and I wasn't trying to. But God, did you have to take my head off in public and call me out about chitlins when I know there's some chitlins in the refrigerator? Right?
It's triggering. It's triggering. I tell you, because we grew up Haitian. That's why everybody used to say, because we used to go to school and try to tuck in the holes in the door because our parents used to be cooking so much damn food, and we would tuck in the holes in the door so we didn't go to school smelling like Haitian food, because they'll be like, "Oh, you smell like a Haitian house," and "Oh, you did it." It was like our parents cooked 3 times a day, 3 times a day, 3 different meals, all have heavy seasonings. So we would be like, it was a food. It was a food.
It was. Hey, Rebecca.
Thank you, Armand.
You know where you took me back. Okay, so listen. Let's go, because we're having great conversations, but there is and we could talk more about Haiti from this perspective, but there are updates from a more serious perspective. Forgive me for coming in and just wrecking shop and making this silly, but there are some real serious issues going on with Haiti that you've been covering extensively. So I yield the floor. And
so
I'll
I know
I'll be quiet.
It's okay. I know that there's so much going on just in Haiti. I wanted to start first with an update. We're going to start with the update first, David. With the U.S. taking custody of one of the main suspects in the Haitian president Jovenel Moïse's assassination last year. So yesterday, L'Union Suite reported that Mario Antonio Palacios is the main suspect in killing of the Haitian president Jovenel Moïse. He was arrested in Jamaica back in October and was scheduled to fly to his native land, Colombia, earlier this week on Monday. But yesterday morning, authorities have taken custody of the main suspect, Palacios. Interpol notified Palacios during a stopover in Panama that the U.S. government was extraditing him. And that was by General Jorge Luis Vargas, director of Colombia's police. Marlene Rodriguez, a spokeswoman for the U.S. Attorney's Office in South Florida, said that Palacios was in U.S. custody and would appear in federal court on Tuesday. Vargas said that Colombia, Jamaica, and the U.S. were in touch to coordinate the deportation and extradition of Palacios to the U.S. Interpol. He said they had issued a red alert for him on charges including attempted murder, armed robbery, conspiracy based on request from the Haitian government. That's reported by CBS. And the former Haitian Prime Minister, Claude Joseph, he said that the U.S. is taking custody of Palacios was a step in the right direction, but he urged local authorities to work with the U.S. to extradite him so that he can face justice in Haiti. And I think that would be the smartest thing to do, for him to go to Haiti and be tried. I think that will also show that Haiti has power when it comes to those kind of things as well. I know a lot of people are dipping their toe, how we do it, head. Everybody been doing that in Haiti's business. But if we allow Haiti to take control and hopefully possibly gain control of the situation, and they move forward and they are at the head of trying him, I think that will show Haiti having some kind of just something. It's been a long time and we haven't been able to really speak for ourselves. What's up? I didn't even see to be here.
You see the man down there.
Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year, brother Pascal.
Hey, and also happy Haitian Independence Day.
Happy Haitian Independence Day.
I have to say real quick. So I made my first batch ever of soup jumu.
Really?
On Haitian Independence Day. Yeah. And it was fire. Oh, it still is fire, actually, because I still got people coming over and grabbing.
You got to take the comments off a man's face.
I was like, James, I couldn't see him. Go ahead.
But yeah, about to just creep out from under the lower thirds from the ticker. But yeah, made it just like how my mama makes it and everything.
Oh, did you? You think you made it how your mom make it, or did you make it how your mama made it?
Oh, I made it exactly how my mama makes it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
All right.
it was fire.
Did your mama test it and tell you it was exactly like hers?
Exactly like hers. Exactly.
Okay. Well, then I can't say nothing about
took
it.
a whole vat of it, drove all the way over to her, dropped it off, and I was like,
You
But
really
that
transported
is dope.
soup? You transported soup?
yes, I did. There's these
Jiggling
things
in the
called
back seat,
Tupperware
soup just
dough.
rocking.
There's
Soup
these
just
new
rocking.
contraptions called Tupperware dough.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
You know,
You're right.
Hey, no,
You
Rebecca, you
transported
and me,
soup?
black.
I mean,
We
what the
black,
hell?
because we wouldn't even think about Tupperware. We
Me
thinking
neither.
about towels in the back seat with the pot in
It's
it. You know?
terrible.
Y'all
because
tripping.
when
I ain't gonna let that go down. God damn it, y'all use Tupperware. Y'all know y'all
I
got
know,
Tupperware
I
in
know.
that
I
damn
grown
house.
up because when he said that word, I was reminded what that was. And
I got Cool Whip bottle. Yeah, I
Man.
got Cool Whip that I
no,
use
the
for
butter,
Tupperware,
the
bro.
butter. Now that was like Tupperware. The butter
Butter?
container. The
Pickle
Y'all
jars.
tripping. The
Oh,
pickle
man,
jars.
mason
Come on,
jars,
y'all.
bro. Look.
Pickle
I'm gonna
jars.
take y'all back. Y'all, the plastic containers that you used to have, they were real hard plastic. Back in the day, they had the little design on it, got a little dot in the middle with the little fan thing going all the way around. That's the old school Tupperware. That's the real
I
Tupperware.
don't know
You
that
got
one.
me
But
on
that's
that
giving
one,
old.
Exactly. Mama know what I'm talking about.
See, James is simultaneously extremely young-hearted, but the oldest person on the screen. So you
Control.
remember that, but you, yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
interesting. Bro. Yeah, because I
Damn.
don't remember that.
80s.
That's before my day. Pascal, happy New Year to you, brother,
New Year.
man. It's good.
I
I mean,
can't be on very long, but I just wanted to hop on. It's been a minute. I miss seeing all y'all's faces.
So when you take that
Right.
tree down,
Oh, God damn it,
it
Rebecca.
looks good though. It looks good.
I knew she was gonna say something. I
Because
knew
look,
It
I
looks
was gonna
good.
get to it. That was gonna be the next thing I say.
It
I'm like, so,
looks
bro, we
good,
taking that damn tree down,
but
bro.
Yo, like a purple elf came up and just vomited Christmas
it looks
in
good
my
though.
office. Now,
Like the Q came up there and
Jesus
just barked
is
and everything.
Santa is a
did.
Q dog in his house, bro.
here's a question though. Here's a question I have for everybody. When do you take down your Christmas decorations? When is the
with
right time to? I'm doing at the end of this week.
Okay,
I'm
so
doing
since
one more week and then it's over.
I took mine down early because I put it up early. And when I got home, I said, get this out of my living room. Get this red, get this out of my living room. Get this green out of my living room.
It was over.
Get it all.
Hold
Get it
on.
all out of here. It's just trash. What's up? What's up?
Hey,
What's wrong?
David, take me down for one.
Okay, so like get
This
it
is
out of my
body efficient, David.
yeah, he's trying to fix his camera. But I was like,
Yeah,
get
no,
this out of
no,
my living room. It's trash. Like I don't want it here anymore. The holidays are over, whatever. But last year, I was like, you know what? I just want it to be Christmas every day. I've been having so and then Temptation in the background. Silent night. And I'm just
In my mind.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from the Temptations.
Hang on. Listen, let me tell you.
Silent night.
You sound like a male chorus to me. Sorry, guys. I know that's blasphemy. I know that's blasphemy, but I'm not a fan of that Temptations rendition of
Why?
What?
What's wrong
David,
with you?
David, drop me in, please.
I'm done with the show.
David, drop me in, David.
David, drop in.
They
Thank
just,
you. What? There we go. Look, the two Haitians, bring them. Get Ben out of here. David, you can't. David, damn.
Yeah, I don't know why mine is all out of focus. But
It's okay.
It's hell out of focus.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw that one out of focus. So anyways, how are you? What's going on?
I'm living.
You're living.
I'm living. You know, I'm working a lot. You know, doing the show every single day, that kind of thing. Just trying to stay alive. Try to tell these stories. And
you actually did a story the other day where you invited. I don't know, but it was like a breaking story with I think an update on the people who may have been with or seen Gabrielle Petito.
Oh yeah.
Talking
about the Sean Paul Schulte and the private investigator Jason Jensen. So long story short, Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner were a married couple that were out and they were found murdered out in Moab, Utah, around the same time that Gabby Petito had disappeared and was murdered as well. So there was a huge speculation that Brian Laundrie went off on some crazy killing spree, killed these two. But it actually shows that there was like their paths did cross at some point. But that's really it. I mean, there's been people thinking that, Brian Laundrie is the one that shot and killed these two women, so on and so forth. But in actual reality, it didn't happen at all. So that actually just got debunked yesterday. Yesterday. So people have been speculating this for months.
Oh.
Right? So I had the father of Kylan Schulte, one of the two that were murdered out in Moab, Utah, and his private investigator, because they're still trying to find out who did this, who murdered these two and what's going on, right? So they came on to confirm things, to debunk some theories, some conspiracies, all that stuff. So big exclusive.
Man, you go grab those interviews, man. You'll talk to anybody, man. I'll be watching you over there doing your thing.
I mean, shoot. Hey, if I could talk to a wall, because this is literally what I'm doing right now. I'm talking to a damn wall.
You're trapped in the closet.
Trapped in the closet. You know what I mean?
We can't
sing that bop, but I know that it's a bop, but it can't sing that.
We can't sing it no more.
Oh,
and do it no more.
Dang, you're right. I can't even sing that no more. And that's so funny.
And that's like, I believe I can. I can't do.
And
that.
my kids be around. Listen, my kids be around the house singing that. And I don't even know where they got it from.
Damn, I'm not ready.
Terrible. And then
dang, I can't even sing that no more. Okay, you know what? My bad. Shout out to the mute R.
Step
Kelly
in the name
crew.
of never mind.
Yeah,
The new R. Kelly
shout out
crew.
to the mute R. Kelly
And
crew,
it's
'cause
Christmas.
I rock with
His
them. I'm down with them. Yeah, my bad.
Wait, the new R. Kelly crew. Who's the new R. Kelly?
No, the
Mute
R. Kelly crew.
R. Kelly.
Shout out to
New R.
them.
Kelly.
Yeah,
Who's the new
mute
R.
R.
Kelly?
Kelly. I rock with them. Sorry for using that. I know it's kind of a gag, but yeah.
No,
you're
no.
right. You're right.
Comedy.
We did. We mute R. Kelly over here, but I'm saying that there are moments that you don't even like, because he's written so many songs for so many artists that you don't even know that you're singing a song written by the Kale. It's just too much. But
It wasn't really written by him because he can't write. Never mind.
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm an ass.
T.
I'm being an ass.
The T.
He deserves
When
it.
you're right, you're right though. Hang on.
And is he really a great singer?
yes, he can change
Yeah.
like 7 different styles, but we're not going to talk about that because it's mute R. Kelly. We're moving on.
Facts.
Is he really a great singer? Come on, now,
10
Rebecca,
12 play.
You come from the church now. I'm just saying.
Ben, the way
In the
he
church,
started
he would
12
in the
play,
church he would be
the
an
way
average
that man
singer.
started 12 play, but why are we continuing this conversation? Because I don't want to
Yeah,
go.
we
there.
can't go
don't
there.
wanna go
We-
there.
Because
we're not gonna go there.
I'm just saying he's not the best singer. I wouldn't choose him for a solo in the church choir. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead,
Facts.
Rebecca.
Facts.
Yeah.
He sounds like a goat. Moving on. though.
Nah.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but I am sorry.
That's all that. You know what? Never mind. Move on.
Is
Let's
the same crowd that would say
move.
The Weeknd is a
on.
R&B artist?
Did I what say what? Say
You
this
say
again?
what
Is
now?
this the same crowd that will say the Weeknd is an R&B artist?
No, I would say the Weeknd is like some Afro punk, like future stuff. Like I don't think
He
he's
is
an
an
R&B
R&B
artist.
artist.
Afro punk.
I don't.
You know what? I'm not.
I don't
even
think he's an
gonna-
R.
I don't wanna
Before
hear
he's
it.
an R&B artist,
He's
I don't
pop
consider him R&B.
He's
Yeah,
pop.
He's winning
to,
R&B awards.
R&B.
Well, R&B singers are in like
Well,
Jasmine
hell, I
Sullivan
mean, they
are
consider Drake
not.
a singer now with his new album, all the singing. They putting him in the singing category now. So I don't know. They just destroyed R&B, if you ask me.
Drake needs to stop.
Drake needs to stop. Thank you.
All
all up in his feelings. You know what I'm
Girls
saying?
love girls where I'm from.
I'm
Girls
gonna-
love girls.
I just come onto the show and go off.
I'm a body.
You did. You threw it off the rails because Ben was already doing that. But Jasmine Sullivan is the best to ever do it right now. The best that's doing it right now.
Now
She
that's a
is-
singer.
She is a singer. She's
That is a
R&B.
singer.
She's soul. She's everything that we've been missing and more. So if you guys haven't, make sure you definitely plug
Now, she would
Jasmine
sing all the
Sullivan's latest
solos.
project, Hotels. 'cause
Hotels.
It's great. Hotels.
What you say, Rebecca?
Hotels.
I wanna see. What you say, girl? You wanna do what with it? Okay. That's how you feel in 2021.
Hey, you know what? Honestly, Pascal, I know you got to go because your show is coming up in a few minutes. Tell the folks. But I want you to tell the folks about what you're going to cover today. But I wanted to say the four of us really should start a little doo-wop group. We could do some harmonies. What's going on your show today, Matt?
Boom, 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 boom. There you go.
In the still of the night, I held you tight. For I love you so. Promise I'll never let you go in the still of the night.
In the still of the night. That was Tony Braxton. Oh.
Wow.
And the male chorus, and the bass singer from the male chorus at your church.
This show just went.
Also known as the bass singer for the Temptations.
They did.
Which is why I don't like
rails, baby. We literally are off. And I apologize to everybody who was listening, watching. Sorry, not sorry. It is Wednesday. We're free
this is the
on
best show
Wednesdays.
ever. What's the point? Who wants to come here and talk about politics all the damn time?
We ain't politicking. We ain't politicking.
We don't got a politics.
Did you see the look on Benjamin's face when he was singing, though? He looked like he was trying to take a poop. He was concentrating.
I felt like Ben wanted to really carry that note. He said, he got right up in there.
What you talking about? I used to be the bass singer in my. See, I guess I'm jealous of the Temptation bass singer. Is really the true story.
That's why you don't like the song.
I didn't get picked for the solo. I wanted to be the bass singer for the Silent Night solo.
Is he the one that wheelchaired out in the movie?
No, I don't know. Is he?
The one that rolled out and died in the wheelchair?
Ladies and gentlemen, the edibles have kicked in. Just so you can see.
The funny story
adjust
is
your TV set.
No.
My mind is out of focus. It's driving me nuts.
You didn't have to do it like that, David. David, you didn't have to put his out of focus one shot on him.
Hey,
that damn white man always. Let me stop.
Listen. Here's the beautiful thing about this media thing that we do and the way we do it. So long as we land the plane properly, nobody knows. So still, at 10 o'clock, you're going to be live.
Okay,
what are you talking about? What are you going to be talking about today at 10 o'clock Eastern?
I have no clue.
So you know what you should touch on, though?
He said he ain't gonna help me pretend to be professional.
You know what you should touch on, though, Pascal? You should touch on, actually, there was a conversation that's actually going around with these people who do podcasts, kind of like what we're doing here, but you know, they'll have these artists on. So the latest one was some podcast guy, Sudanese man, who has a Black American counterpart as his partner for the show. And Asian the Brat, who is a female rapper who everybody pretty much knows. But she was on the show recently, and this man kept shushing her the whole time. And you know how crazy she gets. She didn't even get crazy on the show, but she kept shushing her. But then there were other videos that started popping up where he's constantly shushing Black girls. Hey, can y'all be quiet on the side? Side conversation.
Who is this?
You guys be quiet. It's a podcast, but if you go on to, I believe, like, you know, Baller Alert Shade Room, you'll see that. But the point of this conversation is the fact that before that, they even dug some more, and they found out that he was saying, like, he doesn't do dark. He doesn't date in the dark.
Pascal, you covered it. Slim and fit, if I'm not mistaken. I just saw it on Shade Room this morning.
Yeah.
Slim and fit.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, remember, I think when I came on, you were talking about that was the one the guys came in and they were trying to rob them while they were on camera doing the show.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Well,
in those spaces, though, but I'll say this: in those spaces, those two people, but people who have those podcast spaces, right? They don't. And she started to say, "Hey, I have a Instagram. I have, you know, whatever." He told her, "Hey, don't come on here. You came late. Then you started talking on my show. Now you come on here and you're trying to promote yourself. I know we only have 6,000 people right now, but we get up to 2 million. So you come on promoting yourself."
Wait, what's the name of his show again?
Fresh and Fit. You talking about
Fresh and Fit? Yeah.
And
they started some ish again.
Yes,
they really did.
It's with dark-skinned girls, particularly Black women. It's with all women, but particularly Black women that come on that show.
But Rebecca,
yes,
you said he did this to the Brat.
Yeah, Asian. No, not the Brat. Asian the Brat. Her name is Asian the Brat.
Oh, because
Asian doll.
You mean
Asian doll.
Yeah, Asian doll.
Yeah.
When you said Brat, every one of our heads did the same thing. We were like,
yeah, but that's her name on Instagram. That's her name on Instagram because she compares herself to a brat doll. But I say that to say there are these platforms like this with a lot of Black women sitting at the table or being invited to the table and being disrespected daily by men who are misogynistic and are okay with discussing and saying that it's a preference. A preference would be, I like my woman small, short, whatever, da, 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 da. But when you're actually saying, I don't date in the dark, I don't date darkies, I don't do Black women, I don't do.
Bad.
He said all of these words, he said all of these things. He continued with that kind of conversation. And then when we see how he treats women, right, who come on the show, you know, it also speaks loudly. But these podcasts in the closet, folks, no offense, because we all in the house and crib and closets and stuff like that. But these people who are, but they're getting so much money and they're getting so much play, only to be watched to disrespect women constantly. I even see females with these platforms to do the same thing to Black men, and I don't think it's right. I honestly don't. But the fact that he didn't even know or respect her for her being her, and for her craft and anything like that, I didn't like that. It's like he really,
you can't give some people
chopped
power,
her down. He tried to chop her down to knees, and that's what we see a lot with men who will try to do it. Black women, they come in these platforms, but the way that he talked to them constantly, it was like, you're talking in the corner,
right.
Shush, hush.
But that's his whole demeanor. That's what the whole show is all about. Is basically knocking these women down as many pegs as they can on their show, and it's kind of like, oh, if you don't want to hear me talk because it's my show, you can get the F out. And then they get Frank Castled. That's what they call it.
What's that?
They get kicked out. They literally just get kicked out.
That's not what Frank Castle is.
No,
Frank,
but
they call Frank Castling throwing somebody off a show.
Yeah, on their show. They go,
oh,
hey,
that's their
Frank
thing.
Castle.
But everyone know who Frank Castle is, the Punisher, right?
The Punisher.
Everybody know the
Exactly.
Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Castle ain't throwing nobody off the show, my man.
No.
Well,
So yeah, so that's trash. Real talk, that's trash.
And I don't even know who we talking about. So who's the main character in this? Who's the villain?
I need to see this. I need to see this video. But
don't see the video because it's
time.
I just sent it to your IG, Pascal. I just sent it to you.
It's the videos that are transparent. It's the videos that came up because you know social media, they'll dig and they'll find other stuff and they'll put the stuff together and make a whole documentary. So now it basically shows
Asian Doll.
How right. Coming up at 5, Asian Doll on whatever that show is called.
Fresh and Fit.
Pascal,
disrespected. Are Black women disrespected in the space of podcasts by Black men? Straight ahead.
Well, I can tell you this much.
Keep working on that. Everything now too. You know what I'm saying?
Rebecca, you and I know, all of us know that if you decide to disrespect Black women, you skyrocket to the top of this game as a Black person.
Facts.
Let me say this, and hopefully it's okay for me to say this on your show, Mr. Dixon, Mr. Benjamin. First off, you went on the thing about talking about 10 packs and stuff yesterday.
Oh, not mine. I have a negative 5 pack.
I know.
So you got a picture you about to drop?
Yeah.
You got a picture?
No.
Y'all let the man finish.
I'm a work in progress. Let me just say that. But at the same time,
Rebecca,
hopefully I'm okay. It's okay for me to say this, but what's frustrating about things like bringing in the Black narrative, talking about the culture, all that stuff, talking about things that are going on in the world, talking about the injustices that do go on throughout the entire world when it comes to people of color. What is so frustrating is that shows like this and other platforms that are talking about these things, putting out that narrative, are shadow banned, are shunned, or don't get the views that they rightfully deserve because
right here, I'm like it
out here. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? It's hard out here for a pimp.
Period.
It's hard out here for a pimp. And it's so frustrating because you want to put out the word, you want to talk about what's going on in the world.
You could have started with that, by the way. You would have been comfortable. This is a good enough show. You could say it's hard out here for a pimp on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show, and like it or not,
hard out here for a pimp. It's hard. You ain't known. Okay, can't the rest of that line, but you know what I'm saying. It's very frustrating when you want to talk about things that are going on in the world. You know what I'm saying. You want to talk about things when somebody says, like for example, the judge that said the N-word on that leaked video. Ooh,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But then remember, in reverse though, the Black judge that was people coons and stuff like that. But look,
but you got to talk about both.
We got to talk about both.
You
got
got
to talk about both,
right? It can't just be one side, right?
It can't.
But what's frustrating is that when you want to talk about those things, unless the people, right? If unless the people are rising that show up or rising that channel up, that voice, that opinion is just going to be stuffed. It's going to be buried.
That's right.
By all this other hardcore, right-winged, racist rhetoric that's seen on this platform and many other platforms all the time. And it's so frustrating because, we all want to be successful, right? We just want to be successful. I just want to be successful.
See, here's the problem, folks. I want you to know that today we did not go off the rails. What we did was follow each other's tangents, and we all know each other so well. But none of us have met each other except for, none of us have met you, Pascal. We've met each other.
Where do you live? I mean,
stranger danger.
I'm in St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Hey, a Haitian in St. Louis? How?
Haitian in St. Louis. Sounds like a novel. Sounds like a damn novel.
There's a lot of Haitians. Is there a Haitian restaurant?
A lot of Haitians in St. Louis. No.
So there's not enough to make a Haitian restaurant.
I'm gonna be real. That might be me. I'm gonna be real. Yeah. That's something I have in the back of my mind. If you don't know, you need to check out my Instagram stories because I throw down.
You know how to cook for real.
Oh yeah,
David, just keep me up at this point. My camera going to keep doing this. Just keep me up at this point. Pascal, the Pascal show, 10 o'clock Eastern, unless we're holding him over like we're doing now. Thanks so much, brother, for joining us.
That is not that man. Look, 2022.
Why did you do this? Rebecca's going to talk about it.
Tyler Perry.
Hey, Pascal, I'm gonna be honest with you. Rebecca was looking out for you. Rebecca looking out for you. That's all. She's looking out for you. Because we see your videos. We see you be in the gym throwing them bricks around. Go get one of them shots.
I'm putting in some work. Okay. I'm also
bro.
thinking, like, for me, I said, okay, this year, 2022 is about treating myself.
Hey, B-roll that shot so we can roast him on his way out, David. No, go ahead, Pascal.
Shut up.
Right. Pascal, before you go, man. Go ahead.
Yes, do it.
No, but I just said, hey, I'm going to start cooking more because I cook from time to time for fun, but I didn't cook like on a consistent basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm just going to start cooking more and just treating myself, putting good food into good energy into my body. You know what I mean?
Pascal,
working out.
I want to.
No, the deep fake.
We're gonna have a battle of the bald-headed bakers. Well, you and me, we're not bakers because I definitely don't bake.
I don't bake.
Yeah, I don't bake. But
I'm about to say I'm the baker of the screen.
Well, there you go.
I mean, I do it all because I went to culinary school, so it's what I'm doing.
Yeah, look, y'all even included me, but I like that because don't include the women because it's like whatever. But I just got into the kitchen yesterday.
Rebecca, we know you can't cook.
Rebecca made. Listen, the first time I ever had soup jumu was from Rebecca, and it was good. It was off the chain.
I cooked.
Wait. So how do you make it? I got time. I got time today.
Or actual squash.
It was just good. Tough.
Are you pureeing the squash and all that? Or are you making it soupy?
Yeah, I needed to have a little bit more thickness. So when you actually have the pumpkin and the squash, some people is glow. Some people is just full, and I'm like, dang, just call it bouillon at this point.
Yeah,
it's bouillon.
Thank you. Yeah, it's got to be thicker than a Snicker.
You gotta have some. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like any meat or anything in it, or is it just like the pureed pumpkin and squash?
So it's not pumpkin. It's butternut squash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The thing is yes, there is meat in there. Or you could put meat, you could put chicken, whatever you want. But mainly
you put a fish in there, didn't you, Rebecca?
No.
What was that? What is that fish dish that you made one time? Okay, yeah, no, that's the dish that you didn't make. You made both of them.
That was the red snapper.
Bro, wait a minute.
I'm
the only person. Listen, the best I ever did was dated a Haitian girl. Okay, I ain't married a Haitian woman. I ain't Haitian. I ain't dating a Haitian man.
You don't ever put
go to hell, man.
In that. Ever.
Slide that in there, James.
Yeah,
you got that in there.
Messy as hell.
Chicken or beef in there. So
what was the fish? What was the fish dish that you made for me, Rebecca?
Poisson was
okay, but there
red
was.
snapper.
I had that too.
He turned into Uncle Benjamin today. He's like,
shut up, Uncle Ben.
Listen, it was soupy and it was good. That's all I know.
Yeah,
it was soupy and it was good.
Rebecca, ain't that one that you put that fish in the taco?
And the bun, that's what you had. The poisson was the sauce is what's soupy. You drip that over on top of the poisson was, and then you have the bun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
We need to sit down. We need to talk. Rebecca, come on now.
Y'all need to cook for us because I ain't never had none of this you talked about. My Haitian friend don't do none of this, okay?
I have no problem.
What's really going on?
8 hours. I have no problem driving 8 hours to sit down and throw down for y'all.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
man, come on.
I'm with it.
You know what I mean?
All my male friends cook for me anyway. That's why I don't even need to be cooking.
Okay, Rebecca, can I ask you something? Because
she one of them.
Rebecca, let me ask you something because I got times today.
You got time?
And it's a little bit off. Shoot, the edibles have kicked in. So here's the question for you. Why is it so hard to find a woman that can cook? I'm just curious.
Oh no, don't you do that on the show. No. You ain't gonna get me in trouble.
I'm just asking.
It's definitely not hard.
I see more men that can throws it down in the kitchen than women. Why?
Nowadays, I'll say this because there was a time when it was like very like women had to be in the kitchen, right? So like had to be in the kitchen. And so I think nowadays it's like we've become free from that idea or being held in the chokehold from being like, oh, I got to be in the kitchen. A lot of us are more so, oh, I got to get this money. I got to get to the bag. I got to work. And ain't nobody going to have me in the kitchen. That's how literally me and a group of a lot of millennial women are. But don't say that we can't cook. Now you put a woman in the kitchen or a woman goes, we have to make sure we're feeding ourselves. We have to make sure that, I think the older I've gotten, I've realized I want to be able to cook, but a lot of men are men that cook. For me, it's a lot of cultural men. They all get in and they really throws it dizzy down. I don't really have to cook. They like cooking for me. I put my feet up, and then after they finish cooking, I can take care of them.
Don't she remind y'all of Pam from Martin?
Take care of them, Rebecca.
Take care of them.
Rebecca, you remind me of Pam and Gina.
Then let it go.
You remind me of Pam. No, you can't. It's
here we go, because everybody says I look like her. Okay, they all say it, and I just let it go.
I'm loving
Pam.
I'm
assimilated gestures.
I'm loving the hair.
I love
it.
It's right.
I'll give you mad props for the hair. You look great.
She killed it. She killed it in the game.
But I just find it interesting, right?
Yeah.
That yes, cultural men. Yes, there's more men out here. If they are Haitian, you know what I mean. They know how to throw it down. They know how to.
My Haitian don't cook. Let me stop.
Big gear right now.
I'm kind of jealous. I'm low key jealous a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? But it's rare. A lot of times it's.
Does your fiance cook?
Up in the box.
Does your fiance cook?
Yes.
Okay.
But
so I mean,
but I had to teach her. So I'm saying
and that's okay because now she cooks. See,
yeah. Now she throws down. Now she can throw it down.
Yeah,
you know who can cook? Y'all know who can cook? Aunties, the black aunties, them women who they and they're about 50 years old. They still got it.
I'm ready to say they're about 50.
So about 56. They got, you know what I mean?
No, but they're not auntie like they used to be. I'm the generation of aunties now. That auntie generation is kind of, they're kind of sitting down with canes right now.
I did say about 56.
Yeah, wait a damn minute.
We're the new aunties, though. We're the new aunties. Like us women are the new aunties, but we are in the kitchen.
I'm talking about the ones that cook soul food, the ones that put like 3 sticks of butters in the yams. You know what I mean?
TikTok is actually bringing that back. A lot of women are learning to cook from the TikToks. There are TikTok videos. They're bringing them out. They're doing these like all kinds of like, and I can't lie, I've been watching a few Haitian ones. That's what been having me. I am a pro at Haitian spaghetti. You can't tell me nothing. I just cooked it for my little brother. He was like, God dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, I am really good at frying up some spaghetti. I'm really good. I gotta definitely I make that for y'all. That's one of
I don't put that on my list of stuff that's cooked though. Like do y'all consider a person who cooks spaghetti a cooker?
No, for Haitian spaghetti. Did you hear me? Haitian spaghetti. That's so different.
Did you? I totally did not hear that.
It's not shrimp Alfredo. Okay. It's not that. It's not. It ain't that. Haitian spaghetti is totally different.
Oh wait. What's that mean? What's that mean? You go home, somebody cook for you, and they cook some shrimp Alfredo. All right, man. David,
I tell y'all, I throw it down, but it's a real thing now. Most black men can cook because we came up. That came from our generation. We had no choice but to learn. Cause mom said you need to get your ass in cook if
Let
you
me say
hungry.
this about for me with cooking. I grew up in a household, and I'm gonna be so candid and honest. I grew up in a household with my parents forcing us girls to have to go and watch the women cook while the boys played in the backyard. You know what I did? Because I was such a tomboy, I would go and be like, I don't want to do this, and go jump over the fence and go play basketball with my brothers on the court. And I'll go have a good time or play hopscotch or be jumping rope, going running, getting dirty, whatever. Because my mom, I remember my mother coming home. She ain't speak no damn English, but because of our culture, you have to cook for your kids and your husband, no matter what. She came home from school, trying to learn English, trying to get her nursing degree or whatever the case may be, all of that in one. Came home from a late night, ran over to the stove. I'll never forget this. Ran over to the stove, still had her purse on, stood at that damn in that kitchen, trying to cook for a man who went to sleep. And I told myself when I saw that, I will not be that way. I can't even front on y'all. This is facts. I will not be that way. But the older I have gotten, I understand the importance of taking care of yourself so that when you do have a family, you are able to take care of your family. I am a little bit old school and I do take from my culture in those ways. But there's a part of me that I used to say it all the time. I wouldn't get married. I wouldn't do any of that. I do not want to be a slave in the kitchen to nobody's son. I did say that, but I think, my perspective has changed, with understanding and things like that. But I did not like to see that. And I did not like the forcing of just the girls. When it came to family functions, they would be like, oh, all the girls got to be in the kitchen watching, helping to cook the meat, helping to do this, all of that. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I feel you on that. My dad was not a cook at all. He couldn't cook to save his life, but his family ran a bakery in a very successful bakery in Port-au-Prince, right? So when I was growing up, my dad didn't know how to cook at all. I mean, if my mom was out of town, you knew by the boiled hot dogs and the rice that was on the table, real talk, or pizza that was ordered, right?
Yeah.
But growing up, it was everybody was cooking. You see what I'm saying? It was like a communal thing, right? They were making the bread together. They were doing everything. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how
it was tribal. It sounds like you're more tribal.
Right. It was a family type of thing. But when it came to America, right? When you're on this land, it was different.
Don't do that.
It was my dad came home, dinner was on the table, very, very traditional. I didn't really learn how to cook until I hit college.
Yeah, you got to cook.
I was like, I want to eat, and I love mama's cooking, but
I ain't cooking in third grade, man.
Right, man.
They had me in the kitchen cooking, learning how to cook dressing from my mama in
Alabama.
Stuff like eggs and stuff, sure, right? Eggs and stuff, and how to boil rice and all that, sure. But I mean, like,
but no, real meals, real
dishes and stuff. Yeah. You feel like you're at home, kind of thing.
Well, I was an even fatter kid. I was an even fatter kid than I am an adult, because I used to love everything they cook, so I had to learn how to cook it myself. They do something one year for Thanksgiving, and I liked it. I'm like, okay, no, we're gonna do it for Christmas. But Mama didn't want to cook it for Christmas, so I had to learn how to cook it so I could cook it for Christmas. And then that's so that's how we did it in our house. We just if we wanted to eat it, we had to cook it ourselves.
I want to address somebody in the chat, and shout out to Mara. What's up? Love you, mean it.
I saw Mara's comment. Shout out to her too.
But honestly, I just say this because I know everybody here is where I say we all grew up the same but different, right? And we grew up Black, but I grew up in a Haitian household. How we know Spanish people who grew up in a Spanish household, it's different in your house. When you step outside the door, you American. When you walk in that house, you're Haitian. So, but anywho, one person in the chat was explaining how why the pioneer. He says, problem is, not to be offensive, so many Latina and Asian women seem to not mind cooking and doing these things for their community. Why do so many Afro-American women resist it? So I'll say this. I'll say this. If you didn't hear what I just said, and my truth, it's not that, if I were still raised like in Haiti and being raised in Haiti, that's something that would come naturally to me. But when I came here to America, I realized, hey, I'm just because I have a vagina does not mean that I need to be forced into this way of living. While the men are doing some, just chilling or whatever the case may be, feet up. My brothers weren't even bringing any money in the house yet. but they got to literally act like my father, and we would be able to serve them. I'm not doing that for anybody's son, especially BD had son that don't do nothing for me. It has to be something, you know what I'm saying? My dad was bringing in money in the house and said, those kind of things. So of course, whatever. And they even taught me as a child, make sure you bring your dad the plate, like, treat him like a king. I have no problem treating somebody like a king. Don't get me wrong. That's one of the things that I've taken from my culture. But it is being treated like a slave. Did you not hear me? My mother was learning English, going to school from morning to nighttime. My dad could have, he learned how to order pizza later because at first he was just waiting for her to bring the food home, get home and cook. Jeez. My mom was coming home at 11 p.m., 11:30, rushing over to the stove, still had her purse on, to cook us food. Daddy already went to sleep. Do you understand? That is something like that I wanted to be taught how to live and things like that. So I did take from it. When I got older, I understood that at that point in time, when I got older, okay, Rebecca, you should have learned how to cook. But I did not like in that way where it's being forced upon me to try to be to learn how to be a servant for a man so young. Yeah, it's not about that. So I understand what you're saying for the Latino women and the Asian women, but when you are raised in America and you start to get an opportunity to see freely and how you can take your culture and also take a little bit of this and understand, it's actually taught women that, okay, hey, we don't have to be a slave to no man, but we do want to treat and take care of our man. We want that to be an option, not a thing that's forced on you. Amen.
Amen.
Right.
Church said amen. Church said amen.
People don't realize like the way we grew up and came up is much different now than what it was, because that's how a lot of people were brought up. It was just like, wife is the one that takes care of the house, does everything, cooking and cleaning. It's not that way anymore. Not that way anymore.
No. Pascal, go ahead, Pascal.
No. I was just gonna say, I mean, it is a different world now, right? Back in the day, there was traditions that were obviously we shook ourselves out of those foundations of traditions. You know what I mean? Given the fact that, I mean, there's so many different things that are happening now, and different traditions that have been, I guess, changed, if that makes any sense, or altered, right? So when it comes to something like this, where, what most, like me asking that question of like, why are there less women cooking than ever before? It's just an observation for myself, but also at the same time, it's a realization that, I mean, things are changing. The world is changing.
And and it's funny because when you get to this age, like I said, I still take from my culture. That's why I say I want to take care of my man. I want to be able to get in the kitchen for him, even if he's in the kitchen for me 98% of the time. 2% of that time, I want to make sure that if he says, baby, I'm hungry, Rebecca can get in the kitchen and make sure she throws it down for her man. Okay. And make sure my kids are taken care of. Yes, I still want to do dinners in beautiful, expensive places. Yes, I want to, have brunch, lunch, or whatever. But I do want to make sure if he says he's hungry, my husband to be, if he says something, I can throw down for him as his woman. I want to make sure I can take care of my children as their mother. Yes, there are those kind of things I still have in mind, but I'm not going to sit there and say, because I have a coochie, that I'm going to be doing that for, just automatically doing that.
Come on.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
it has to be like
real. That's real, B. That's real.
So man can't say, make me a sandwich?
Hell no.
Okay.
You think I'm gonna ask my wife to go make me a sandwich? Do you think any of the Benjamin Dixon morning show would exist if I got up in one morning and say, hey babe, go in there and make me some coffee?
In the arms of an angel.
What that mean? This is like, hey baby, go make me some coffee, and then next thing you in the background in the clouds.
Yes, bro. I am making it a habit of taking breakfast to my wife, and it's not about showing off. I realized in a very selfish fashion, really, it's just, I'm gonna be egotistical, right? I'm not gonna say I'm a good person. I realized the more I freed my wife up, the more she was free to help me.
Right there.
Oh, that should be a shirt.
That should be on a shirt.
Now we pop a lock and crack a lacking and we making moves, even though I'm trapped in the closet.
When it's 50-50, we can't do that. Remember, Ben, when it's 50-50, it's like everything works out good. It's just like, oh, okay.
But let me ask you something, though. Like, what are you making her for dinner, for breakfast, though? You like pulling out the Eggos and just throwing in the toaster.
Bro, wait a minute.
Like
This is why
the eggs and stuff. Making
Pascal, this man be up at 3 a.m. doing shit. Pascal.
Pascal,
So he be having time.
I'm out communing with the universe and doing yoga at 3 a.m. literally. So by the time breakfast comes around, I've already had a full menu time to do it all. So I mean, I'll do shrimp and grits for breakfast. I'll do salmon croquettes and grits for breakfast. I'll do salmon with the white wine sauce for lunch, just because it's Tuesday.
You lying, big head mother.
No, salmon is beautiful. You gotta get the good salmon though. Don't go get the bagged up salmon, even though I do get that salmon. Too on a good day. But go to the Publix and say, can you cut me a slab or 3 slabs of salmon? And it's rich in color. Oh God, it's so rich in color. And you take it home and you look at it and you're like, wow, I'm gonna cook you up. And depending on how you want to cook it, so if you want to bake it, put it let it sear on the pan. Get out of here. I'm not paying you guys.
I can make quesadillas for breakfast.
Yeah. So, something nice, but there's something about salmon. People want to sleep on salmon and be like, yeah, salmon ain't even hitting on nothing.
No, salmon is good.
Right? And
I've done like some salmon bites with mashed potatoes. I've done for like 2 or 3 parties now. And when I tell you it'd be a hit, man.
Hey, the best macaroni and cheese. No joke, no cap. The best macaroni and cheese I've ever had is not from a black woman. It's from a black brother down in Daytona Beach. He makes the best macaroni and cheese in the country. And I'm going to mess y'all up. The best example I have ever seen of what a black man should be, lie not to you, Mildred Hay in Florida, a black woman. I looked at her and I said, you know what? How she handles herself, how she handles herself in public, how she handles meetings, how she tells the truth when nobody else wants to tell the truth. She would stand up and tell the truth when nobody else wanted to. I said, that's who I want to be like. That's how I model my manhood, off a black woman.
You dropped that truth bomb so hard that you broke your camera.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Hey man, you hung out with us the whole show now.
We did. You hung out with us the whole show.
Actually,
the whole show.
Because I'm gonna have to hop off here. I got a little bit of a something just popped up, so I got to go and take care of it.
Something came up.
Something came up. You know what I mean?
Something came up. Hey Pascal, before you go, man, just did you hear about the new invention I did?
No.
Man, the first thought I just invented the first thought control air freshener, man. It makes sense when you think about it. Happy New Year!
Like
Family guy.
And Sin.
Hey,
I got it.
Hey man, go enjoy the rest of that edible that kicked in, man.
That's the edibles for all y'all.
I don't do drugs.
Damn that. I do.
Hey, DJ Exclusive, play some music. Hey, listen, very special thank you to David, who prepared a magnificent show full of content for really serious news. Honest to goodness, and I just came in here and messed up everything. But we love you, David. Thank you, man.
Right. Play some music.
Can we hear him? Is he
who, David?
No, he's cussing us out in the chat. But I love you guys so much. I'm headed out because there he go. David, be ready because he got a button-up shirt.
Those are the biggest goddamn headphones I've ever seen in my life.
Man, what kind of big? God damn, giving me Princess Leia ear muffins.
David, we can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you, David.
The ones Dwayne gave me broke, so I haven't ordered new ones yet.
Look, hence why I have my big ones on. Mine broke as well too. Look, David, we might as well get Rebecca's because she don't steal. They still in the box.
Right.
They get the box.
Oh man, shout out to Chuck Diesel. Something's going on with Chuck Diesel. We got to find out what's going on with brother Chuck, man. So everybody, reach out to Chuck if you can. Make sure he's good.
I'm gonna be doing a later show today.
Just bounce out, man. If everything's okay, let us know. We can do anything, man.
I appreciate all y'all. Happy New Year to all you guys, and of course to the fam, the Benjamin Dixon Show fam. I just wanted to say a Happy New Year to all y'all.
When you come on this show, though, it's like it or not, but it is
and then like it or not,
Dixon morning show.
I'm sorry.
Listen, anytime you see Rebecca and James on the screen, it's like it or not.
My bad.
It's okay. It's okay, sweetheart.
Don't mind him.
Just like I don't try my mother.
Pascal, don't pay them no attention. I don't know what the hell they talking about.
I'm trying to focus on brand identity at the end of the
show.
Right. So all the news in the world, and we
seriously, to all you guys, Happy New Year to all.
Happy New Year, brother. Thanks so much.
Happy New Year, sir.
Real
hey,
talk.
David, my other computer died, so I don't have sound ready.
We are janky as hell today.
All right. Well, Pascal can drop, but you all have to filibuster for about 30 seconds.
Pascal, take care, man.
Right.
We are janky as hell today. But I
Oh
honestly,
my God, Pascal is trying to get out of here. Y'all, no, seriously, this morning we are janky, a little janky. Ben has his camera off.
To me.
You know, I don't know what's going on with Bubba. He's scooting over to the. Is that the bed? He's scooting over to the couch.
No, that's the couch. That's the couch. That's the couch. Okay.
And then Pascal had to go. He was his focus was out. It seems to be me that's only on point today. And so since I am here, and David pops in.
I was about to say, you're the only one, huh? What?
Yeah,
David camera looked like he broadcasting from the 90s, man. What's up with your camera, bro?
You bought the laptop.
Ooh.
Oh.
The shade of it all.
All right, David.
I got my head chopped off twice. Hey, man, David, play some funky music for us, white man, and get us out of here.
No, he said we have to filibuster for a while as he. Oh, it's there. So thank you guys for watching. Like it or not, I love you guys so much.
I love the way you said
love you, mean it. I hope that you go and enjoy yourselves. Today is what, Wednesday? Give him something wise to leave with, Bubba, because I know you always have something good. But I love you guys.
Ooh, here we go, y'all. Y'all affirmation for today. I refuse to let my mind bully my body. I refuse to let my mind bully my body. Y'all go be great, man. Love y'all, mean it. We will see y'all in the morning. Deuces.
Won't you join in? I can help you with anything you need. When you make mistakes, I can ease your pain. Follow me and dream.
You off, you left me out for dead. Ever since I was a teen, had prices on my head. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Yeah, I'm the running man.
Don't feel right. I still wanna party with her. Oh yeah. Even when it don't feel right. You know I'ma party with her. We be chillin' off the Wednesday, slept until it's Thursday. She don't wanna leave me, not just yet. Told me all about last Friday, when she went all crazy. Didn't go to bed till Saturday. I don't wanna go without, so I asked her to stay. Though she broke my heart in a million ways, but I'm putting that aside now. I'ma feel alright now, happy just as long as she's with me. I've been trying my luck every day.